Welcome back to Mind Blown Movies. Explain the home of wild plots, deep meanings, and stories that'll fry your brain circuits. Today we're diving into the visually stunning, emotionally devastating, and philosophically loaded fantasy drama, along with the gods, the two worlds. Buckle up. This ride goes straight through seven hells and beyond. Our story opens with a literal blast. During a rescue mission gone wrong, firefighter Kim Ja-hong falls to the ground, missing the caution mat on the floor. His life quickly flashes before his eyes. Just then, he wakes up with a big smile on his face and walks up to the family of the girl he just rescued to ask how she's doing. But no matter how loud he talks, the girl's parents don't seem to hear him. His smile soon fades away when he hears his name sounds in stereo. When he turns around, he finds two individuals standing in the midst of commotion, but as he tries to warn them on the danger of their position, he notices his colleagues crying out loud over a body that looks just like him. He freezes in shock, and two individuals, Lee Deok-chun the man and Hai Won-meg the woman, introduce themselves as the Grim Reapers. They tell him he died a paragon, and their mission there is to escort and defend Ja-hong as his guardians in 7 trials within 49 days. If he passes, he will be reincarnated. Ja-hong is shocked at this information and can't seem to accept the fact that he is dead. Before he could assimilate this information and ask for a chance to tell his mom goodbye, he is sucked in, through a tunnel, into another dimension as the Guardians wows at the man's caring attitude towards his mother. Soon they arrive in a different dimension where it is revealed to be the afterlife, and we see thousands of people walking up to face their trials. Ja-hong is introduced to the group leader, Gang Rim, who congratulates the man for being a paragon, but Ja-hong ignores him, stating that he is not a good person. Rim, who have helped 47 souls reincarnate. 2 more will mean their reincarnation themselves, but at this point, Ja-hong is unaware the Guardians have their own agendas. The first court is the hell of murder. Won-meg is happy Ja-hong has never killed anyone in his life, but their celebration is cut short when they are quickly teleported to a nightmarish place full of lava called the Mountain of Murder. Here, Chun questions Hong if he ever committed murder in his life, for this won't be possible if he didn't, but Hong denies ever doing something that horrible. But the group's leader, Rim, informs them that causing someone's murder indirectly through inaction is also judged by the trial, which explains why they are there. Here, Ja-hong gets flashback of the time he failed to save his colleague, trapped in rubble during a firefighting mission, which eventually led to the man's death. Immediately, giant stones open up beneath him, where those found guilty are being burned by larvae and try desperately to escape, all to no avail. Hong tries saving one person before the judge of this hell screams at him to let them go, which he does. This is the hell of murder, and those found guilty are punishable accordingly. Kaur, the persecutor, brings up the incident with his colleague's death and demands that Hong be held responsible and atone for his sin of not saving his friend for 5 years in the lake of fire, as he could have saved him but let his colleague die. Things get heated. He is just moments from being condemned, but then the truth is revealed. Grim defends Hong by revealing what really happened at the incident and said he tried desperately in lifting the rubble his friend was trapped under, but it was too heavy for him. After realizing the hopelessness of the situation, it is revealed that his colleague told him to prioritize the civilians and come back for him later. Because of this decision, Hong was able to rescue 8 other civilians that night. Rim says Ja-hong attempted to go back for his colleague, only to be held back by his other colleagues as the building collapsed. Rim says the man's heroism should be taken into consideration when judging his decision to leave his friend behind. Seeing the man's bravery and hearing of his heroics, the judge acquits Ja-hong of these charges and allows them to move on to the next trial. In the second court, Hell of Indolence, Ja-hong's guardians, Mek presents his selflessness and diligence to the judge, stating that Ja-hong has never been lazy throughout his life, even explaining the one time he had to knock down a beehive to save a mission, and also there was a time he had to swim in deep waters and save many drowning cows. There was even a time he was trying to save a trapped cat, but ended up falling from the building, crashing the owner's Lamborghini. The judge applauds the man's selflessness and diligence, and even asks for a giant statue of the paragon to be built in her palace. But just when the Ja-hong is about to be set free, the judge asks him one final question. Why did he risk his life to do all these things? Ja-hong blurts out that he only worked for money. This enrages the judge, and she is greatly disappointed in the man. And the judge quickly changes her verdict and orders the persecutors to condemn the man into the hell of indolence. Those who are found guilty of indolence or who fail this trial will be trapped here for 1,000 years, being crushed repeatedly by 3 giant rotating beams, and those who try to escape gets eaten by deadly piranhas. Just when Ja-hong is about to be punished, Deok-chun and Gang Rim interject. Rim, the sharp defender, drops a truth bomb, stating that the judge should look closely as to why Jia Hong took on multiple jobs was because he needed money to support his brother's education and ailing mother. Gang Rim states that the reason the man was desperate for money was not due to selfishness, but for the love and responsibilities he felt towards his family, sometimes often disregarding even his own health. After realizing the man's true motivation, his story touches the judge greatly, and thus with this sympathy she felt, the judge changes her verdict once more this time around, finally securing his second acquittal as he only wanted to help his family. The judge lets them pass on to the next and third trial, in the hell of deceit. But then, something happens. The physics of hell begin to glitch. On the way to the hell of deceit, ghouls attack as the physics of hell begins to morph. The battle is fierce, but the group comes out on top. Something is very wrong. This change indicates that a member of Jia Hong's family had died and become a vengeful spirit. In order to prevent other monsters from pursuing them in future, Gang Rim peels away to investigate and informs the rest he'll be leaving the party to investigate Hong's family while the remaining group proceeds. When he goes to Hong's mother's, he finds her still alive and in mourning. Sensing her grievance, this could only mean one thing. The vengeful spirit is Hong's brother, Su Hong. Gang Rim determines that it is Jia Hong's brother, Su Hong, who has become the vengeful spirit. Rim senses the presence of the spirit in the house and calls it out from hiding. The evil aura tries to flee, but Gang Rim chases closely behind. He tried to trap the spirit by catching it using his weapon, but the ghost manages to avoid all his attacks. The two will eventually clash, knocking the guardian away. This allows the spirit to escape, as Gang Rim looks desperately for his mark, all to no avail. The trail leads Rim to a military base where he overhears other soldiers referring to Su Hong as a deserter. Upon further investigation, he goes back in time to the night Su Hong died and replays the flashbacks of what really happened that night that caused the death of Su Hong. He finds out that while on duty, Su Hong was accidentally killed when trying to comfort his partner with a hug. While on guard duty with his partner, Dong Yun, who failed to set his weapon to safety mode, mistakenly shot Su Hong. This incident was witnessed by the superior, Lieutenant Park Mushin. Instead of trying to save the man's life, the two proceeded to quickly cover up the incident by burying Su Hong. While trying to cover up the crime under the intense weather of very heavy rainfall, Dong Yun breaks down in tears, mourning for his comrade, while the superior, Lieutenant Park Mushin, convinced him to proceed as planned, for the repercussions of killing a fellow soldier is severely punishable, and this could spoil his promotion. Under the cloth covering his face, it is revealed that Su Hong was crying in pains and still very much alive. Hence, he was buried alive, explaining why he became a vengeful spirit. In the next scene, we see Hong's mother being informed about his son Su Hong's death as Gang Rim watches at a distance. The news clearly leaves the old woman devastated. Mushin hands some files to Dong Yun, successfully discharging Dong Yun, as he is not in a state to keep being in the military because he has been deeply traumatized since the death of his colleague. All this happens as Su Hong's vengeful spirit watches in his spirit mode and quickly flees away when Gang Rim walks in. Dong Yun is devastated and suffering from depression. Out of the military, he goes to a nearby clubhouse to get rid of his sorrows. Gang Rim is also there, watching him closely, anticipating the arrival of the vengeful spirit as he dances crazily at the center of the club as others give him way. Just then, Gang Rim realizes the vengeful spirit is trying to kill his once best friend by causing a chandelier to fall on the man. Gang Rim foils the attempt by Su Hong to kill Dong Yun, and a high-speed chase ensues where Gang Rim chases the vengeful spirit of Su Hong and successfully using his weapon to trap him to a skyscraper. Upon interrogation of the vengeful spirit, he learns that Su Hong's grudge was not against Jia Hong, but rather Dong Yun and Mushin, before releasing a great deal of explosive energy to escape. Before he escapes, Rim tells him that he must forgive his offenders and other to stand a chance to be reborn. This is the kind of twist that makes your jaw drop. If you're feeling that shockwave right now, go ahead. Like, subscribe, and slap that notification bell so you never miss a moment like this on Mind Blown Movies Explained. After the affairs of that night conclude, Dong Yun goes over to the Hong's residence and meet Mama Han. As she walks away, Dong Yun tips off Su Hong's mother on the location of his body. All this happens as Su Hong watches behind his mother. This gesture by Dong Yun melts the heart of the vengeful spirit, causing him to go soft. Dong Yun goes ahead to attempt suicide by hanging. At a critical timing, he is saved by Gang Rim on Su Hong's request, after the latter agreed to cooperate. After saving the soldier, Gang Rim serves as an interpreter between Dong Yun and Su Hong and informs Dong that his friend has forgiven him and he should go on to live his life with no regrets of the things that happened in the past. The man is grateful for this act of kindness and thanks both entities. In the Hell of Deceit, where the third trial is held, Ja Hong is accused of writing fake letters to the family of those who had died, one of whom is Ji Yun, the daughter of his fallen colleague, the goddess of deceit, which happened to be a little girl, orders for Ja Hong's tongue to be cut off as punishment for his actions. But Gang Rim supernaturally links with Deok Chun through telepathy from the living world to defend Ja Hong, stating that he had also written fake letters to his mom, saying he became a very successful man. All this to cheer her up, allowing her to focus on her health, and that the letters to Ji Yun brought healing, despite her actually understanding that her father was dead, helped her cope with her loss. The evidence is thrown out, and the charges are dismissed. Ja Hong is exonerated from the charges against him, again this time. The trio passed through the Hell of Injustice, where the fourth trial was to be held, and because of Hong's profession as a firefighter, and he always helped people. In this hell, the deity will freeze anyone who failed to help people during their lives in a giant icebox for 1,000 years, as repercussions for their actions. The fifth trial takes place in the Hell of Betrayal, where a beautiful goddess will trap anyone who betrayed people in a giant mirror and repeatedly shatter them. But the trio also go through this one, as Ja Hong never betrayed anyone in his entire life. Ja Hong breezes through hells of injustice and betrayal. But in the Hell of Violence, things get personal. Yeah, here's where things explode. The sixth trial is to be held in the Hell of Violence. In the Hell of Violence, Ja Hong is tried for beating Su Hong when they were younger, while the latter was malnourished. Ja Hong fled home after this incident and was never forgiven. As Ja Hong was not forgiven, he is convicted and is about to be punished when Gang Rim instructs Deok Chun to request for a combined trial at the next court, since they are both similar crimes. In the seventh and final trial at the Hell of Filial Impiety, the request is granted. Ja Hong reveals that, due to poverty, he intended to commit familicide because at that time he thought the only way his family could battle poverty was to die. But he was discovered by Su Hong. In a fit, he beat up Su Hong and fled out of guilt, opting not to be a burden and dedicating his life to supporting them. Gang Rim and Su Hong arrive at the army base. Just when you think this movie can't break you anymore, Su Hong, now at the military base, sees his mother being abused by the officer who covered up his death. Yes, we witness that the mother of Su Hong also came there seeking for the body of his son so she can give him a befitting burial. In the end, Hong's mother receives a shabby treatment at the hands of Park after revealing the map handed to her the previous day by Dong Yun. Park goes ahead to knock the old woman over. Enraged, Su Hong transforms back into a vengeful spirit and lashes out at the base by conjuring up a massive tornado that connects to the afterlife and almost swallows up his brother, only stopping when he realizes how his actions are affecting Ja Hong in the afterlife. The seventh trial held. At the Hell of Filial Impiety, Ja Hong is immediately judged by King Yomra himself to be guilty. The deity charges the man with attempt to murder his own mother and beating his brother in such a desperate time. He learns that on the night of his attempted murder-suicide, his mother was actually awake and had decided to allow it, knowing that she was a burden on her family. But she kept all this tragedy inside her heart all this while and stayed silent, which makes the man's crime even worse. The deity concludes that Hong will be punished forever in this hell as he tries to kill the one who gave him life, the greatest sin of all. Suddenly, the entire realm starts shaking as Su Hong, with the help of Gang Rim and Won Maek, enters his mother's dream and revealed to his mother that Ja Hong has been working non-stop for 15 years to support them. Surprisingly, he later learns that she had already forgiven Ja Hong for that night and even blames herself for not being able to provide for her family. Since sins that have been forgiven in the living world are not allowed to be judged in the afterlife, and the king, being moved by their family display, declares that Ja Hong is allowed to be reincarnated. Afterward, Gang Rim realizes that Yomra had been meddling with his investigation of Su Hong. He decides to confront Yomra directly and chooses Su Hong as the group's final soul before their own reincarnation. This is the kind of twist that makes your jaw drop. If you're feeling that shockwave right now, go ahead, like, subscribe, and slap that notification bell so you never miss a moment like this on Mind Blown Movies Explained.